All right, so we're gonna whip up some oats. If you're having trouble getting your oats down, I wonder, like, how are you making your oats? If you're just putting it in a bowl and putting some water in it and hoping for the best in the microwave, like, we can do better than that. So this is all just concept, right? And what I want you to take away from it is not the exact measurements that I'm using, but just the concept of it, right? So I'm gonna be doing 40 grams of oats, and again, that's particular to me and how much food I need. So put however many oats you need in your bowl, right? So I need 40 grams for this meal, so I'm gonna put 40 grams of oats in. Boom. All right. We're using these guys right now, but sometimes I just use Walmart's Great Value Quick Oats. If you like doing rolled oats, steel cut oats, whatever type of oats you like, hey, I like quick oats because they cook easy and I like the texture. So now to that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some granulated no-calorie sweetener. What this is sucralose, which is the same thing as Splenda, okay? So this is just a big ass bag of Splenda. It's like $4 and it lasts forever. Okay, instead of doing packets. If you want to do packets of Splenda, you can do that too. But this is my sweetener of choice. This is what I like to use. If you want to use stevia, use stevia. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. I think stevia tastes like shit. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put about that in there. I like my oats sweet. If you don't like your oats sweet, don't use as much sweetener. Boom. That's done. Now, I'm gonna use some cinnamon, okay? This type of cinnamon is the good stuff to get. So the stuff that you get from the store, unless this is also just fine. It's cinnamon, right? But there are different types of cinnamon, and this is the one that I prefer to use, okay? I think I ordered this online on Amazon. So now, I'm gonna throw some cinnamon in this dish, okay? About that. Doesn't have to be exact. If you like cinnamon, use more. If you don't like cinnamon, don't use as much. Mess around with it. You know what? I'm gonna put even more in. Boom. Good to go. And you know what? I'm gonna get fancy with it today. What I'm gonna do, I got a little bit of vanilla extract. I'm just gonna throw a little bit in there. Skip this step. You don't like vanilla, don't put vanilla in it. But I'm gonna put just a little bit in. Good to go. And now one of the most crucial steps is salt. We are gonna put salt in here. Yeah, so this is a sweet preparation for oats, but I'm gonna put salt in it. When you put salt in it, it makes the flavor profile more complex. If you don't put the salt in it, I don't even fucking want it, to be honest. So I like using salt where it's a grinder. So I know exactly how many grinds to put in. I don't have to get it like a measuring a teaspoon or something. I just know, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's how much salt I put in my oats. Again, this is all stuff that you'll have to mess around with. From that point, that's what we're looking like. Just mix it around, boom. So now I've got about 10 grams of carbs extra from fruit that I get to put in here. And this is all on my plan, right? So I'm just gonna throw that in, and you can add this later if you want. You can add it while you cook, before you cook the oats. It doesn't matter, mess around with it, but I'm gonna put it in now. It's blueberries. I've got blueberries in here, and I've got apples in here, and I've got a prune cut up in here. I like putting it in now because the apples get nice and soft. It's almost like apple pie flavor, the cinnamon and all that mixed together, right? So now we just throw water in. So how much water? This is also something that you just gotta mess around with, right? But I like to get enough water so that it just barely covers the oats, and then that's good to go. So I just eyeball it every time. Obviously don't turn the water on full blast, but just, you know, put it in. And I can usually tell by how dark it is, if I need more cinnamon or if I put maybe too much cinnamon in it. But that's about how much water I like to have, where the water is just coming right over the top and I can barely see the oats underneath it. That's money for me. So taste test, good to go. Throw it in there, 1 minute. Let this cook for a minute, and then what I'll usually do from this point is, again, this is another thing you just got to mess around with. Sometimes I like my oats thinner, like more watery. Sometimes I cook it longer and they get more voluminous and they expand and it's way thicker and it takes longer to eat. All depends on my mood, right? But generally what I do is I put it in for a minute and then I check it, see where it's at. Maybe I'll mix it around a little bit, and then I'll put it in for like 20 seconds at a time after that until it gets to the consistency that I want it to be at on that particular day for whatever mood that I'm in on that day. All right, so it's come out. It's still too watery. I need it to cook more, so I'm gonna put it back in for another 25 seconds or so. 20, 30. Just don't put it in for another minute because you're for sure going to overcook it.
Cut to the dog. Cut to the cat.
All right, so that's what it's looking like. So for me, I still need to get it going a little bit more, probably another 20, 30 seconds. Ooh, that's just hot. All right, so now this is about the consistency I want. And it's gonna continue to cook and solidify a little bit, so I almost want it a little bit loose. But again, if you like yours nice and thick, hey, go for it even further than this. But I'm gonna let mine show right there. So I actually have some added fats in this meal, so I get some almond butter, and I like to top it off with some sugar-free syrup too. So what I do here, I need about 10 grams of almond butter. That'll work. So I like to put my almond butter nice and pretty right in the middle. Good to go. And then I just drizzle this sugar-free syrup on it. This is not low sugar syrup. This is sugar-free syrup, okay? 5 calories per 30 mLs. So I don't even track this. Like, we'll just, for shits and giggles, we'll just throw this on the scale and just see. So 30 mL, so an ml on the scale is the same as the gram. They're interchangeable, so we just look for grams. That's about what I would normally do. That's about 22 grams or 22 mLs, and so that's less than 5 calories. That's literally insignificant. This is something that you can use fairly liberally. Unless you're in a competition prep scenario, you don't need to worry about how many calories is in this because it's so low calorie, okay? I'll put a little bit more even. So that's it. That's my meal. So you could do, just the oats. You could do bananas. You could do apples. You could do raisins. The world is your oyster. So it doesn't have to just be just straight, just plain ass oats with no seasoning. Put some sweetener in it, stevia, Splenda. Put some cinnamon in it and jazz it up and make it taste nice. And the big key too is if you're doing sweet oats, put a little bit of sea salt in it. It'll make a world of the difference. Try it out. Let me know what you think.